Hi, welcome. This is Anthony. I'm with UXAuditor.com. This is our inaugural podcast or videocast. We're doing these live. We are not editing and making changes to them after the fact, so excuse any roughness around the edges. I'm not a professional streamer. I'm not a professional announcer, anything like that. I'm a UX designer. I do a lot of UX research and design work. And so, yeah, we're going to jump in. We're going to look today at Walmart.com. We're going to do some performance tests, some accessibility tests. We're going to look at the overarching navigation and flow. We're going to check out some of the workflows, I guess you could say, through purchasing a product, and then we're going to compare it to Amazon, and we're going to compare it to Target, and I think we're going to compare it to Robinhood, which is a stock trading app, but has a lot of similarities in the way that they're trying to streamline the checkout process. So let me jump right into into Walmart. We'll start talking about it. If you join the stream live, feel free to ask questions, anything you want to go over. If you have a website you want to talk about, your own product you want to talk about, an app you want me to review, please just pop in with the chat. If you don't see this live, just leave a comment, send me a message. You can go to uxauditor.com or service@uxauditor.com, and I'll try to address it in the next video. But yeah, if you like this stuff, if you're trying to learn it, if you're a business wondering about it, then please just subscribe or follow us, and let us know if you have any questions. So let's hop right in. Thanks. Okay, so this is the front page of Walmart.com, and if I look at it here, I have a fresh browser, so I'm not seeing anything that I'm not looking at anything that is associated with my account or my searches in the past. This is all fresh. Now, the first thing you'll see, and you might take for granted, of course, is this top navigation here. The search is right in front and center, which is where you would want it to be. There's a little drop down here that lets you, it's going to let you, I'm on the wrong screen here. A little drop down that's going to let you filter by department, which is pretty cool. But overall, very standard. There's one thing over here on the right that I kind of like, and that's you have this secondary nav on the right. And it's just icons, which is okay, but if we know anything about accessibility, icons are usually not enough. The idea is that they're universal, but more often than not, people get a little bit confused about them. So what's nice with Walmart is that when you mouse over it, there's a little animation there. Nice, it's a slick little animation. It tells you what the actual button does. So that's kind of cool. I like that a lot. And there's a few little things in Walmart.com that are like that I think are kind of interesting that they're experimenting with, obviously, and I think they might catch on with other vendors. On the left here, we have the compressed Walmart logo. It's really just the mark, which is pretty cool. And then we have the hamburger menu, which is the same here, I think, as it would be on mobile. And you can see it just pops it out there as a modal overlay. Here we look into the body a little bit. It's auto-detected a zip code fairly accurately. It's not my actual zip code, but it's fairly accurate. And they're very much pushing this next day delivery to combat Amazon's accelerated delivery services. So Walmart's really trying to keep the heat on Amazon, not fall behind again like they did in years past, where Amazon was stealing market share hand over fist, and Walmart's really trying to compete more with Amazon on a one-to-one basis. And of course, they have the size to do that. Amazon has much more mind share, I think, nowadays, but Walmart is actually the larger company as far as revenue. So you get your standard carousel here, which is cool. Nothing terribly surprising. We notice that we don't have any kind of arrows on either side here to indicate that you can go to the next or previous slide. That's unfortunate. Usually we like to have that. We do have an indication of how many slides there are and what slide you're on down here at the bottom. And there's a shortcut link to jump between them. That's nice because you always want to know your place in a website, in a system, in a machine. Like you want to know what gear you're in a car. You want to know where you are in a slider, what slide you're on, or like in a website or a game or whatever it is. You always want to know where you are, and that knowledge that the system conveys to you is one of the basics of good experience design. So that's okay. We prefer the arrows on either side because that's a standard thing. but this is okay too. If we look down here, we get our secondary promotions. Obviously, these ones up here are sort of timely ones. I remember on Father's Day I looked at this site, and there was a lot of stuff for guys, like a lot of advertisements for tools and video games and sports and workout stuff and things that Walmart thinks men would like. But here we can see there's summer savings, standard hair care looks like, back to school, and next day delivery, again pushing that really hard. So you can see right now their big thing is back to school. It's the end of July. They're going to go back to school, most kids in August sometime. So it's a great time to push that. Makes total sense. If we scroll down a little bit, we can see they're still pushing this pickup. They're picking a Sunrise Super Center, which is not too far from where I am, which is that's smart. They are pushing things that are selling in my area. So apparently there's a lot of there's a lot of Monopoly players around here. There's a lot of white Hanes t-shirt wearers, and there's a lot of rolling trunk users in this area. So that's pretty interesting. Maybe I'll post on nextdoor.com for open Monopoly game seats in case I get tired of poker or something. Anyway, over here again they're pushing again get free next day delivery. That's really, I mean, that's the third time, and this is still actually above the fold. So this is the third time above the fold they're pushing next day delivery. You can tell how critical that is to them. If we go down a little bit, Pet RX, it says it's an advertisement, but it's an advertisement from Walmart itself. What I saw recently, there's an article that was saying that Walmart was going to be downsizing their health services, and they're going to be laying off a lot of pharmacists, a lot of senior pharmacists. So I wonder if they're trying to make an effort on the pet side, thinking that there's more of an opening there because there's less competition really with the pets. Continue down, back to school savings, college, dorms, and tech, all back to school student stuff. Shop by category. Let's see. And then you just have your breakdown of categories. We have more summertime advertisements, home, and grocery. So grocery is a huge pull for Microsoft or for Walmart. That's not surprising. They get a lot of revenue from grocery, and they really kind of exploded when they went into the grocery space. So let's go back up here. Let's say that I want to buy something for the home, and we're just going to go through here, and we're gonna go up as far as checkout and see how that process looks, and then we'll compare it to Amazon, Target, and see how the process looks on each one. So let's go into the home category, and again, big summer savings clearance for home. They invite us with this pop-up. This is an Intercept. They want us to sign up for their newsletter. Essentially, they want a lead. This is all lead generation. I haven't seen this on Walmart before, and feels kind of weird. Feels kind of awkward because it gets in the way of my shopping. But I guess they figured that having your email is worth the interruption. Next day delivery again. Lots of next day delivery. And let's say I want a patio and garden item. Okay, same banner. And again, you'll notice how far I'm having to drill down here to get to something that is actually a product I can buy. And that's kind of a critical issue that might show up in their analytics. I'd be very curious to see their analytics, but that's really a critical issue. If you're having to click through so many categories before you can see any products, it's questionable whether I'm going to do that. Now, what they could do is they could have these categories listed like this, and then down here start to show the individual items in a filterable list. That might be a good option, but again, it's Walmart. They're spending a lot of money on the user experience and the customer experience, so it's hard to always tell what their data is showing versus what an executive has mandated because they like something a certain way. Those both happen a lot. So let's go into patio furniture. Okay, and here we go. So we finally got to products. That was a lot of clicks to get to an actual product. They're assuming probably that you're just going to use the search. If I'm looking for patio furniture, I'm just going to do a search for it, and that's probably right for 90% of the people. Usually, you're not just browsing through a website like you are browsing through a store. You probably have more of a focus, more of a purpose. So let's go into here. We're going to add this to a cart. Oh, and if you hear noises, that's my kids. I'm filming this at home, and they're little, so they may interrupt us. But if they do, that's life. If I add this to a cart, this is pretty neat. You can't see it here immediately, but it's actually turned this into a quantity changer here, up and down. So, and this reflects it up here in the shopping cart. So usually you just get this indication on sites of how many items are in your cart. But in this particular site, in this case, we're actually getting to the opportunity to change that in line in the product listing. I think that's a really, really cool feature. I haven't seen that before on a lot of sites, and it really accentuates the focus that Walmart has on making it easy for customers to buy more. They want you to buy more of whatever it is. So if you're buying 5 toothpaste, you change it right here. You can forget about it. You don't have to remember to change it later on when you're in your shopping cart after you picked out 15 things. It's a fantastic idea. I really like that. So let's go ahead and add another item in here. I'm gonna let's add a swing. I like swings. I live in a townhouse, so I don't have a tree to attach a swing to, but yeah. That's city life for you. Okay, so here we can go to the checkout screen, and you can see immediately they're pushing their credit card, which is interesting. And the big thing you want to see though is that they have this area with the list of products, and they have a little sort of an order ticket, like a little, almost like a receipt on the right side here with checkout. If you look at at this list, you can change the quantity. You can order additional services. They're not thrown in your face. They keep it relatively simple by default, but you can expand it to select services. They have delivery pickup. You can remove it. You can save the item for later if you don't want to buy it right now. That's all pretty cool stuff, and that all gives the user agency to do what he wants with this order. So one of the things you want to look for is, does a company lock you into a little flow that you can't escape from at some point until you pop out the other end? Is there a way for you to make changes along the way, to go back to a certain section, to a certain step, edit it, and then jump back forward? All these things are things you want to look for on a site that they indicate that the company has really thought about the customer experience. So we have trending on Walmart down here. Obviously they're trying to promote other things, but more or less this is an incredibly simple flow, right? This is an incredibly simple screen. If they took away this credit card stuff here, it would be astonishingly simple. But they haven't taken away this menu up here. We can still get back if we want to. Pardon me. Overall, it's a pretty great flow. I'm going to close this right now. You can do your searching. So let's go to checkout and see how that goes. So here, let's see here. Sorry about that. So here we get our price. Same area of the screen that we had it before on the previous screen. You can see item details if you want to. So this is pretty nice. It doesn't move around a lot. Like it's nice to have that in the same place. It gives you assurance that yes, the system still knows what I want to buy. The price hasn't changed. It's all the same thing. The other great thing about this is you don't have to create an account. A lot of sites, especially in the old days, and it's not as much of a problem as it used to be, a lot of sites like to force you to create an account when you go to check out. You really don't want to do that anymore. That's not a good idea. A lot of users want to just buy something and not have to register in your database. A lot of companies, especially smaller ones, don't have good record keeping. They don't have good security on their sites. They don't have any kind of rules and policies as far as when they sunset your data and delete it. So your data could very well be sitting in their server unsecured for forever, and it's just a matter of time until it's hacked. So it's really great to have a guest checkout where you know that's not going to be saved. You can still order it just fine. So let's try that one. And it says if you're using a promo code, you want to create an account. So they're giving you an incentive to create an account so that they have your lead information again. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. So here we go on the next screen. You get delivery and pickup options as the first. And if you notice on that previous screen, actually, let's go back one. Let's see here. I want to show you one thing on that previous screen. It's already showing you the steps 1, 2, and 3 here. That's a really, really good thing. You want to let people know like how long are they going to be in this flow. And if you notice, when I hit checkout, that top nav basically disappeared. You still have your cart symbol here in the top right, and you still have the Walmart mark logo, but the mark is not actually linked to anything. I can't click that to get back to the site. I can only go back to the cart. So once you're in the actual checkout flow, you're pretty much in it, but they do tell you how long that flow is going to be. So good and bad there. They probably have data that shows that people are less likely to hit the ejector seat button and not check out, not finish the checkout process if they don't have an easy search up at the top. That's probably what their data showed. I don't know that, but either way, it's not best practices really, but it's probably best practices as far as their profit margin, which, you know, that's what they're in business for, right? So here we can see delivery and pickup options. Pickup free. If we switch to that, you get to pick a super center. You can go to edit. You can pick all sorts of ones that are nearby. That's interesting. You can actually pick up at a FedEx. So Walmart is kind of like the Amazon Locker thing, except that it's at FedEx offices instead of Whole Foods. So there you go. If we do delivery on both, we can hit continue, and then you get your delivery address. Let's see if it's gonna do it. Okay. Let's just type in a name. Email. Okay. 555 Redmond Ave. Okay. So there's the real address. We want to be emailed. I'm not going to subject whoever this is to that. It says use address provided. That's fine. Okay. And now we get to payment methodology, the last step. Get credit card, gift card, and more. So that's interesting, right? Because it defaults to credit card or gift card. But if you want to do it in a more modern way, you can click more, and you get all of these nice web-based checkout products. So PayPal, Visa checkout, Chase Pay, pay with cash, which is a really interesting idea. You can click on that. So you actually pay for the online order at a Walmart store, and then it's delivered to the store, which is kind of funny. I would think you could just order it to the store and then pay with cash once it got there, but I guess Walmart's supply line is such that doesn't work for them. I get it. Walmart has a very, very, very efficient back end once you're a vendor for them. It's very complex and it's very difficult to get up to speed, but it's extremely efficient once you're there. That's opposed to Amazon, which is a very easy thing to get started with, but it's very inefficient and you lose products constantly. Okay, so I'm not going to complete this obviously, but it's pretty good flow. I mean, that's really a pretty good flow. Let's jump back to the main part of the site. I want to run a couple of analyses on here, and then we'll as far as speed tests, and then we'll compare it to some other sites, give some general thoughts. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna try three different tools to test the speed and the let's see. That was very eloquent, I know. Their tool is not working, I don't think. So that's not a good tool. There we go. Okay. So we're going to go to www.walmart.com, and we're going to go into North America, and we're going to start our test here. Okay, then I'm going to go to Google Developers Insights, and we're going to do the same thing. And we're going to see that these are 3 different tools that we use to optimize your site. These are things that you can do if you have a site of your own. I recommend using these 3 tools. It's pingdom.com, it's Google PageSpeed, and it is gtmetrix.com. And these all do kind of the same thing, but in slightly different ways. They all have their own advantages and disadvantages. But you want to, if you can score well in each of these, you're doing pretty well. Obviously, a very heavy site like Walmart's not going to be as fast as a small site, but what you might find out is that your WordPress site is excruciatingly slow and you don't even know it, and that materially affects your search rankings on Google and Bing. Okay, so performance grade on pingdom.com overall is a D, 62. It's not as bad as you think. That's not horrible. 2.4 megabyte page size is fairly large. 1.69 seconds is actually pretty quick for that page size, and 228 requests. That's a lot of networking going on their end, and it's not surprising given the level of complexity of the site. That's really not that surprising. The site seemed responsive to me. It didn't load. It seemed to feel particularly slow when I was on it, so I wouldn't. That's one of those things where the numbers look worse than the actual experience for the user. However, Google's tools that'll affect your search ranking whether or not the user experience is actually okay. So avoid URL redirects gets an F. Reduce DNS lookups, F. Make fewer HTTP requests, gets an F. Cookie-free domains expires headers and compress components with gzip. All fair. I mean, it's all fair stuff, but that's not major stuff. You wouldn't expect a site like Walmart to have major issues. So overall, that's not too bad. Let's jump over to Page Insights. All right, 27 on mobile, 57 on desktop. That's kind of rough. 27 on mobile is pretty bad. But sometimes it's very hard to get a site that's heavy up on the Google test, and unfortunately that's the one Google uses, so tough luck if you're big. Happily, Walmart is a massive site with tons of inbound and outbound links, and so it doesn't have a hard time ranking highly in Google search results anyway. That's the benefit of being one of the largest companies on the planet. So 27 on mobile. And this we can look at. You can say there's a 3.1 second first contentful paint. So by the time you see any content, it's 3.1 seconds. It's kind of slow, but it's not terrible. First meaningful paint, 4 seconds. That's pretty slow. And the first time that their server or CPU can take input in a material way, 12 seconds. Usually I found that Google is actually being very liberal with that. That usually it's quicker than that, but for whatever reason, the way Google does their test, it comes out very slow on their server. I would estimate it's probably closer to 6 seconds, about half of that. There's a lot of things in here. Limited render blocking resources, 1 second gain, serve images in next-gen formats, 0.84 seconds. These are all fair, but excessive DOM size, I don't see a way around that. Amazon's probably going to get the same thing. So let's go on to desktop. You can see it's a little bit quicker here. First CPU idle, 3 seconds. I guess really I should be comparing it to this, and that's more what it felt like to me. I didn't see any problems, and you can see there's a lot fewer issues here in red marked. There's a lot of elements, but again, if it works responsively, who cares really? GTmetrix gives it an F. It's a big site. This took 23 seconds for them to load. Now notice they're in Vancouver, so they're testing outside the US, but again, people are in Vancouver and they may order from Walmart, so that could be a problem. And these are very similar if you look to the problems we saw with Pingdom tools, so it's very similar. issues that they're recording here. Let's see here. So I think we should compare that to Amazon, their big competitor. And for Google, I'm just going to have to type in Amazon.com. And Pingdom, I'm just going to have to type in Amazon.com. Let's see. Just so you know, I've been doing this about 23 years of my career, a mixture of UX stuff, visual design. I did 3D animation when I was first starting out, and I've had a lot of fun over the years. But yeah, I just passed my 23 years in my profession. I started when I was 17. I started a business actually doing computer animation. So yeah, been at it a while. Been at it a little while. Okay, Amazon on Pingdom gets a much better grade. If you notice, 85. It loads much faster than Walmart, even though it has a much larger page size, and that probably is because Amazon has their own Azure server, or not Azure, so that's Microsoft. They have their own server in the system, and so it's very they're going to give themselves optimal treatment on that server network, and of course that's what they're doing. So Microsoft, Amazon, and Google probably have the most powerful server network in the world. Each of them has a very powerful network. You can see like Google's going into gaming with Stadia, with game streaming. Microsoft is doing the same thing with xCloud, and then Microsoft competes with Amazon on the server storage side of things with their Azure platform. So yeah, it's not terribly surprising that Amazon would have a really responsive server. Now, what'll be interesting is how they do over here. So they're better on mobile, and they're really good on desktop with Google's test. So we can see down here 0.8 seconds till you can interact with the page. That's way faster than Walmart is doing, and the reality is Walmart really might want to consider upping their ante as far as their server technology, because this kind of thing makes a big difference. This makes a huge difference. Let's see GTmetrix. So you can see here a little better on page speed on GTmetrix. It's a lot faster, like way faster. And what the difference here is, I think GTmetrix was active in 3.8 seconds on Amazon, but Walmart you had to wait for the whole time. So that's kind of a sticky thing for Walmart, because you want to be active, at least be able to interact with the page as quickly as possible. So yeah, it's they've each got their things, but it's definitely falling out in Amazon's favor here. So if we look at the Walmart site where we were, and then we look at the Amazon site and click back and forth a little bit, you can really see that you got this search bar at the top, right? That's pretty standard. I'm going to move myself down to the corner. Oops. I'm going to move myself over here so we can see the nav bar a little bit better. So Walmart is pushing your next day shipping, and it has this menu up here. Amazon has it in the corner, and they're just pushing, your delivery address. They have their quick links here, and they have the standard stuff over here. What's interesting with Amazon is they're pushing a lot more advertisement in the actual navigation bar. Walmart has a pretty svelte looking navigation bar here, and until recently they didn't have this next day delivery and delivering to address in this. So it was actually just this bar and then this slider, but now they've added this in here. But Amazon is still, Amazon feels a lot more overwhelming, I'll say that, than Walmart, because Walmart has this smaller bar, and then it has a general slider, and then you have your standard three areas that they're really pushing right now. They're three sort of calendar date pushes underneath the slider. Amazon has a busier header bar, it has a very small slider up here that's mostly hidden by the by this other ads, and it does have these arrows, but you can't tell how many slides there are or where you are in the slide deck. And then you have these very random advertisements, unique gift ideas like grass-covered sandals. It's unique, I guess. Shoes, women's fashion. They have an actual advertisement from another company here, which is interesting. And then, of course, they have a little bit of back to school. And as you scroll down the page on, and here's another college back to school thing up here. You scroll down the page on Amazon, you start to see that it's a bit like the candy at the checkout in a real store. It's just so many individual things. And what's funny is these are not telling you anything about them. Like I have no history in this browser, so all of these things are just what they think randomly somebody might like. The witch is in, like, okay, people like throw pillows apparently. Be your own boss, which is very much not what I've heard about working for Amazon. Is like affordable tech accessories like a car mouse. I mean, this is all, if we look at this, it's honestly, most of this is junk, but Amazon is meticulous with their measurements and how they run their site. They have a machine learning algorithm, I believe, that constantly measures and updates what they show to people and how they present things to people. And the reality is that most people that are on this page, if they scroll down and they don't just use this search, they may just be window shopping like this. You know, these ones have prices, the deal's under $25, but most of these you just have to do a quick look and you get a modal pop up and you say, all right, it's marshmallow mugs and it's 26 bucks. Great. I don't know. I don't even know what this is. It's an omelet maker in red, medium sized. How big is medium? I don't know how big medium is. How big is a medium omelet? Is it? I have no idea. These are just unordinary finds, and that offends me as somebody who cherishes language. Pushing pushing this. Let's say we want to buy something. So let's say we want to go the same sort of route that we went with Walmart. So say we want outdoor deck chairs. Okay, so we want to get some kind of outdoor seating like an Adirondack. How would I get there? You know what would be a reasonable thing? I have a nice new house with a nice new patio. I don't, but I will. And I want stuff for it. I want to furnish it. What the hell? This is a really long list. Honestly, like the more I look at this compared to Walmart, the more Amazon looks like a disaster. Trying to navigate this. There's just too many things on here. I think Amazon is blown up so they're in so many different areas that it's just kind of messy. Let's see, showroom. Here we go, garden and outdoor. Okay. Now you notice I had to go through the hamburger menu nav there, which is fine. Patio furniture, patio seating. Yeah, there's an Adirondack chair right there. Where are they? Wait, this is bestsellers, featured categories, top rated, recommended for me, because they know a lot about me, most wished for, most gifted. Wow, people are giving each other $110 camouflage chairs. Please don't give me that. I would take this Paw Patrol over that Paw Patrol chair. At least my daughter could sit in it. Okay, I don't see Adirondack chairs yet. I'm getting some product listings at the bottom, which I like. Okay, I gotta find the right category. Chairs? I gotta use the left nav to find them. There we go. And what's interesting is I can't even add them to my shopping cart from. I can't even add them to the shopping cart from here. This is ridiculous. Like, now I'm on the actual product page, and now I can add to cart. And they want me to buy polyphenol blend dietary supplements are often bought with Adirondack chairs. Didn't know that. So let's go to checkout. We will proceedeth to checkout. And you'll notice Amazon does not let you check out as a guest, which honestly is a big turnoff. You know, Amazon is counting on the fact that they're huge and that you're going to have an account with them already, or you're going to be okay with creating an account, but it's really not great practice to do that. And, you know, the thing with Bezos is that he idolized Sam Walton, and Sam Walton was somebody who was meticulous with details. He was known for measuring the width of aisles and the depth and height of shelves and things like that, just to find the optimal ratios. And he was just obsessed with refining the experience of the customer. You know, he used to ride around on his own delivery trucks from store to store to see how they were, to talk to the drivers, to see each store in the country. He was interested not just in the end customer experience, but the experience of his own employees. And that's not the reputation that Walmart had most of my youth in the 90s and in the thousands. But Sam Walton himself was obsessed with all of those things, and he was a very, very humble guy. Drove a, you know, humble in the sense that he drove a pickup truck and had his dog and lived, you know, in his house, and his wife cooked dinner and things like that. Not humble in the sense he was obviously, you know, anybody that's that successful gets an ego, and I'm sure he was no different, and probably ended up struggling with that a bit. But the reality is he was Bezos' idol, and I think that's what made Bezos so obsessively particular about how his site ran. But I feel like it's getting so big at this point that it's become messy, and it really comes across as disorganized and not particularly user-centric, not particularly user-friendly in a lot of ways. Even I think if we go back, and you can see like they don't, the same thing, they don't want you to be able to check out as a guest. I'm sure that you're locked into the checkout process just like Walmart when you go ahead and go into checkout. So let's do a search instead. So let's say we want to buy a I don't know, LED light. So LED lights, again, it's very chaotic, but it's okay. We can't add anything from here, which I don't like. I don't like not being able to add anything to my cart from the list, because if I want to buy more things, you know, why can't I just add? I like all three of these things. This is a pretty cool looking light, but I can't do it. So filters. I think Amazon really wants you to use the search and the filters more than anything. It's a different modality, but you can see how many filters they have on the left here. It's very, very granular, and the problem is that when you go to you sort, like you really have to see what set department you're in. So it's not bad. If we click over to Target, we can see that it's very similar, same day delivery, pushing that, just like Walmart. They detected a nearby Target, and they have lots of pushes here. You can see what Target is sort of a hybrid. They're pushing a lot of stuff like Amazon does. They're pushing the same day delivery. Overall, it's a pretty good site. One thing that Target does a lot better than Walmart is that they actually know what's in their stores. Walmart tends to not have any idea what's in their stores. They tell you there's 3 available and there's none. And then you go into the store and the guy at the store says that they went out last season, and too bad, you know, sorry for you. But it's not bad. It's not bad. And you can see they're pushing back to school as well. And college prep, just lots of summer and lots of back to school stuff. And they have this same sort of layout as Walmart does here, where they have your categories. So let's go to patio. We're gonna go to Adirondack chairs. There we go. I love Adirondack chairs. I don't love Adirondack chairs, but you know, for the purposes of this video, I love Adirondack chairs. Polywood, Hanley folding. There we go. And you can add it to the cart. Look, you can actually change the the finish right here, which is awesome. Choose options, add a stock, and you can ship it. So Target's pretty nice. I gotta say, that's a pretty nice experience. My wife shops with Target a lot, and you know, they're okay. They're not bad. They're not. I don't find their stores as well organized as Walmart, so I find that I can find things better in Walmart. But of course, there's that stigma about Walmart that Target's a little bit more upscale. So it's a trade-off. Checkout process. I'm ready to check out. Promo code. Standard shipping. Save for later. Very similar to Walmart system. I'm ready to check out. And just like Amazon, no guest account. Sorry, Target. You know, Walmart is the only one that's really, honestly, they seem like they're innovating the most of these three major retailers, and that's kind of remarkable. They weren't known for that just a couple of years ago, but really they're the ones that are doing the most to step things forward. So the last thing I want to do is I want to go to this is Robinhood.com. This is a stock trading site. If we look at here at Walmart, we can see what they did, and let's actually reload this. Okay, same thing. But I want you to look at, this is for Walmart stock, and I want you to notice how similar this is in sense to the checkout process at Walmart, Amazon, and, well, you couldn't see the one at Amazon and Target, but once you get into checkout on those ones, there's this little order ticket on the right here, just like Walmart. And Robinhood has copied, if you notice I'm scrolling here, this stays over here. Robinhood has copied that layout. So you get some information about the stock, you get about the company, you get some news about the company, you get some information, you get some analyst ratings, earnings, and you get people bought. So this is pretty cool because Robinhood recognized that most trading applications are inordinately complex, and they said, we're going to model our process of purchasing a stock or an option on the retailers, because the retailers do the most research of everybody on how to make it slippery to check out and to buy a product. Very, very smart, and it's paid off in a huge way. Obviously, they have other things going for them. They innovated on price. They were the ones that really pushed the zero commission thing, but really, they've done a really great job simplifying down the process of owning and trading stocks. And I think that there's obvious disadvantages with Robinhood. They're making their money on you anyway. They just don't tell you that they're doing that. They make their money up as far as the way that they handle your orders. However, they also don't have more complex analysis tools and scanners, indicators. They don't have a lot of the things that the more sophisticated software have. But for people that are just starting out, that just want to buy a stock and hang on to it, things like that, it's easy to jump into it and understand it. So I think they're doing a great job, generally speaking. But this part here, I wanted to bring this up particularly because it's a very simplified checkout process, and that's exactly what you want when you're trying to get somebody, in this case, into a trade quickly. So Walmart, they're doing a great job, and I like it. I like what they're doing. I hope they keep it up and keep advancing the things forward. If you have any questions about this, if you want to have me look at a site that you have, or an app that you have, or a game that you have, give my analysis on that, be more than happy to do it. If you want to participate in one of these, if you are a UX person, a designer, or a researcher, hit me up in email or on the in the comments, and I'd be happy to have you on here as a compatriot to talk about, because UX is something best done in a group. It's best done as a dialogue between people, and we have a dialogue here going as I talk to you, but I can't hear your feedback right now unless you're in here live. So better to have somebody in here with me if you want to be, if you're a UX person. If you're a business owner and you want some UX services, head over to uxauditor.com, uxauditor.com, and check out what we do. We offer very, very upfront pricing. We don't have any hidden fees. We advertise our pricing right on the site. It's not one of these bait and switch schemes. And generally speaking, if we underestimate the amount of time it takes, then we eat that cost. So I don't like the whole premise that people have a lot of times with this sort of work, where they say, contact us for a quote. Yeah, for more sophisticated things, that's the case, but there's no really avoiding that. But for anything less than an enterprise application or a site, generally speaking, we can do it for a flat fee, and those prices are right on the site. So thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.